Every so often, a machine arrives that forces riders to rethink what speed, agility, and control should feel like. Not because it is the biggest or the most intimidating, but because it changes how the human body connects to motion. This story begins with a shift in priorities, where the thrill comes not from raw numbers alone but from the sensation of a chassis responding instantly to every input, encouraging confidence instead of demanding compromise. It is about the moment when high performance stopped being defined by excess and started being defined by balance. When engineers took a risk that many believed would fall short, only for it to outperform expectations in a way the market could not ignore. This is the turning point where lightweight design became a performance philosophy rather than a marketing line, and riders discovered handling that felt almost predictive. If you enjoy deep dives like this, like and subscribe, and comment which topic should be covered next. Segment 1 of this story traces how the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 emerged from a design culture that valued agility over size. Within the first 30 words, the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 stands as the center of this narrative because its existence challenged an industry that had grown comfortable measuring progress in engine displacement alone. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, riders were trained to expect that every new generation of a performance motorcycle would arrive with a larger number stamped on the side of the fairing. Peak output sold magazines, and curb weight was often an afterthought that engineers accepted as the tax that came with chasing more power. This momentum pushed many companies toward heavier leader bikes that offered impressive straight-line urgency, but also carried the physical burden of bulk that could dull responsiveness in the corners. A rider could experience commanding acceleration on the highway yet encounter limitations when the road tightened and demanded delicate steering feel. The weight reminded the rider that the machine was built to triumph in single dimensions rather than deliver a balanced, confidence-driven experience. Inside Honda, however, a different vision was forming. Engineers believed that the next evolution of performance required rethinking mass density, chassis geometry, and real-world usability instead of simply enlarging pistons and hoping the chassis could keep up. That internal debate planted the seed for a motorcycle that would become a turning point for the entire sport class. At the center of this push was a philosophy known internally as total control. It reflected not just an engineering goal but a larger cultural stance that responsiveness and predictability mattered more than overbuilt straight-line theatrics. Engineers evaluated how weight sits within a frame, how a rider shifts position under acceleration and braking, and how the geometry communicates surface feedback through the handlebars. This focus unlocked new design possibilities. Instead of chasing headline numbers, they started studying how a chassis could feel intuitive, how a power band could be delivered without excessive drama, and how the machine could remain stable yet lively at high load. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 emerged as the answer to this research, built around an engine size intentionally chosen to challenge assumptions rather than confirm them. An 893 cubic centimeters displacement may not sound radical compared to full-liter bikes of the era, but combining that engine with an exceptionally light structure produced a sensation that riders had not encountered before. The team trimmed metal wherever possible, revised components for compactness, and treated every gram as a threat to responsiveness. The results were so lean that early testers questioned whether a machine with such minimal mass could remain composed in aggressive riding scenarios. This pursuit of lightness was not about fragility but about refining priorities. Honda wanted a motorcycle that rewarded skill, sharpened instincts, and eliminated the lag that came from moving excessive weight suddenly from side to side. The development team refined frame rigidity so it remained compliant without feeling vague. They shaped the bodywork to support airflow efficiency, and they selected suspension components that complemented the bike's flickable nature. Even the ergonomics were tuned to feel purposeful, with a riding position that placed the rider in command of a chassis eager to react. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 entered the market as a shock to riders who had been told that bigger engines always meant faster bikes. Many discovered that a lighter, more agile machine could cover real roads more quickly because it allowed late braking, earlier throttle openings, and smoother transitions in tight sections. The market had never seen a machine that carried this level of performance yet remained approachable for riders who valued control over intimidation. Consumers quickly recognized that this was not another step in the displacement race, but an entirely different category of superbike that proved balance could outperform size. The philosophy behind the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 turned into the core selling point. It invited riders to rethink what mattered in high-performance riding. Engineers had created a machine that reacted with immediacy, communicated with clarity, and encouraged exploration of its capabilities without overwhelming the rider. The arrival of the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 marked a moment when technology and philosophy blended into a product that challenged conventions, reshaped expectations, and pushed enthusiasts to reassess what they wanted from a sporting machine. This segment establishes the historical backdrop, the internal debates that shaped Honda's direction, and the broader performance culture that set the stage for a breakthrough, providing a foundation that supports the deeper engineering story that unfolds next. Segment 2 expands the technical and philosophical depth behind the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992. Within 30 words, the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 anchors this discussion because its engineering blueprint illustrates how a careful balance of mass, geometry, and power redefined superbike priorities. The engineering team began by targeting weight as the most influential performance variable. Every component on the motorcycle was subjected to scrutiny, and each gram removed had to preserve structural integrity and rider confidence. Instead of shaving mass indiscriminately, the team evaluated load paths, stress concentrations, and how the frame responded to cornering forces. This allowed them to retain predictable flex while eliminating unnecessary bulk. The result was a chassis that delivered feedback with clarity, offering riders a sense of situational awareness that heavier machines of the time often muted. Honda approached the powertrain with similar intentions. The 893 cubic centimeters engine was compact, efficient, and designed to provide strong mid-range performance rather than relying on peak output alone. Riders discovered that the engine's responsiveness complemented the lightweight structure. The motorcycle delivered acceleration that felt immediate due to reduced inertia rather than sheer horsepower. This synergy helped establish a new expectation for how a superbike should feel when transitioning from upright cruising to aggressive lean angles. The Fireblade encouraged smoothness and rewarded precision, qualities not always prioritized in larger, heavier machines. The suspension setup played a pivotal role in realizing the total control philosophy behind the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992. The team paired lightweight components with firm but communicative damping. This tuning ensured that the suspension followed surface variations without excessive movement. Riders could sense traction more clearly, allowing them to make informed decisions at high load. In an era when some performance motorcycles prioritized outright stiffness or brute stability, the Fireblade offered a rare blend of agility and composure that felt refreshing in both high-speed sweepers and tight technical sections. One of the most discussed elements of the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 was its steering geometry. By adopting sharp rake and trail numbers, Honda delivered steering that reacted quickly to rider input. This transformed direction changes into intuitive actions rather than physical efforts. Some early riders interpreted the lively front end as overly sensitive, particularly when compared to slower steering leader bikes, but many ultimately appreciated the responsiveness once they adapted to the bike's personality. The design was not meant to be twitchy. It was meant to eliminate the hesitation found in heavier motorcycles that required deliberate force during transitions. This sharpening of handling defined what made the Fireblade feel revolutionary. Aerodynamics were also reconsidered, not as a styling statement but as a functional component of stability and rider comfort. The compact fairing worked with the rider's body to manage air pressure at speed. By creating a narrow frontal area, the motorcycle sliced through air more efficiently, aiding both acceleration and top speed. Honda understood that a lighter machine benefited more from clean airflow than a heavier one. Turbulence could unsettle a reduced mass bike more easily, so controlling it became essential. The fairing also contributed to the overall theme of compactness, reflecting the Fireblade's goal of minimizing excess in every form. The brake system on the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 complemented the chassis in a way that reinforced rider confidence. Strong braking performance combined with low mass provided stopping power that felt significantly more responsive than larger rivals. Honda opted for components that balanced power with modulation, avoiding overly aggressive bite that could overwhelm riders transitioning from heavier bikes. The reduced weight meant less momentum needed to be controlled, allowing smoother and more controlled deceleration. This characteristic earned praise from riders who valued predictability under heavy stress. Ergonomics played a surprisingly important role in the Fireblade's character. The seating position was intentionally crafted to place the rider in an active stance without causing excessive fatigue during longer rides. By bringing the rider closer to the center of mass, Honda improved control during aggressive riding and made the chassis feel like an extension of the rider's body. The tank shape, handlebar placement, and foot peg position were all refined to support body movement. This encouraged riders to explore the limits of grip with confidence. The lightweight wheels used on the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 influenced both handling and suspension performance. Reduced rotational mass allowed for quicker changes in direction and improved bump absorption. This subtle but meaningful improvement demonstrated Honda's holistic approach. Reducing mass in a single rotational component affected acceleration, braking, corner entry, and chassis communication. It proved that performance gains could come from targeted refinement rather than dramatic increases in engine size. A key theme behind the Fireblade was balance. Honda emphasized that focusing exclusively on power or speed overlooked the interaction between rider and machine. The CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 delivered a harmonious blend of attributes that felt coherent. The chassis, engine, suspension, ergonomics, and aerodynamics worked together rather than competing for attention. Riders did not need to adapt to quirks or compensate for excess weight. Instead, they could ride naturally and confidently. This sense of unity distinguished the Fireblade from other performance motorcycles of the period. The market's reaction to the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 proved that the engineering team had captured something essential. Riders who had grown accustomed to heavy-liter bikes experienced a new level of connection with the road. The Fireblade responded instantly, encouraged finesse, and rewarded skill in a way few machines could match. The motorcycle's agility transformed everyday rides into engaging experiences, and it elevated the standard for what a superbike could achieve without relying on extreme numbers. As more riders tested the Fireblade, word spread that performance no longer needed to be tied to displacement. The industry began to recognize that reducing mass could produce broader real-world benefits than simply increasing horsepower. This shift in thinking resonated with enthusiasts who valued a more dynamic and intuitive riding experience. The engineering choices Honda made became talking points among professionals and hobbyists alike, reinforcing the idea that innovation requires challenging assumptions. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 also sparked internal discussions at other manufacturers. Engineers and designers were compelled to reconsider their priorities. Although displacement races would continue, the Fireblade demonstrated that the most effective path to performance was not always the most obvious one. By proving that agility could outperform sheer power in many situations, Honda changed the competitive landscape of the superbike segment. The Fireblade became a benchmark for evaluating future bikes, even those produced by companies that initially dismissed the lightweight approach. Segment 3 brings the long-term legacy of the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 into full focus. Within the first 30 words, the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 remains the anchor because its cultural, technological, and market influence continued long after its debut, shaping how riders and manufacturers defined performance for decades. When the Fireblade arrived, its lightweight philosophy challenged established assumptions. Over time, this shift in thinking became the foundation of modern superbike development. Riders who experienced the Fireblade discovered that agility, predictability, and balance were not just engineering ideals but elements that dramatically improved real-world confidence. This led to a cultural re-evaluation of what made a motorcycle engaging. Enthusiasts began to prioritize connection and sensation rather than simply chasing the largest engine on the spec sheet. As years passed, the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 built a legacy that extended beyond its initial shock value. Many riders described the experience as transformative because the machine encouraged a more refined, technique-driven style that rewarded smooth movements. The Fireblade showed that controlling mass could create new performance envelopes that heavier motorcycles struggled to match. Riders found themselves able to navigate technical routes with less fatigue and greater precision. This sense of empowerment encouraged a new generation of enthusiasts to explore performance riding with more confidence. The Fireblade helped shift the riding community toward valuing skills and finesse, not just raw acceleration. Manufacturers also absorbed the lessons demonstrated by the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992. Even though rival companies preferred not to publicly acknowledge its influence, the next wave of sport motorcycles featured a noticeable reduction in weight, an increase in chassis sophistication, and a broader commitment to balanced performance. The industry began to adopt lighter frames, more compact engines, and refined aerodynamics. By forcing this shift, The Fireblade effectively set the direction for future superbikes. The market could no longer accept machines that were fast in straight lines but cumbersome in complex sections. Balanced performance became the new standard. This transformation had ripple effects across the broader motorcycle culture. Track day organizations, training schools, and riding instructors found that motorcycles inspired by the Fireblade's philosophy were better teaching tools. They helped new riders develop technique faster and made high-performance riding more accessible. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 indirectly contributed to a safer and more skilled riding culture because its predictable feedback and intuitive handling encouraged good habits. Riders could feel traction, weight transfer, and chassis communication with greater clarity. These qualities helped build competence in a way that heavier machines often limited. A key part of the Fireblade's long-term influence comes from its reputation for durability. Many high-performance motorcycles of the era required frequent adjustments or accepted compromises in long-term reliability. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 demonstrated that cutting weight did not have to reduce longevity. Honda's commitment to functional engineering ensured that the machine balanced strength with efficiency. This reliability contributed to its lasting legacy because many units continued to perform well after years of use. Enthusiasts who owned early Fireblades often kept them for extended periods because the machines remained rewarding and trustworthy. Collectors and historians now look at the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 as the start of a design lineage that continues to influence modern sport motorcycles. Its core philosophy of total control set a precedent for future Fireblade iterations and guided Honda's approach to performance engineering. While later models adopted advanced electronics, improved suspension, and more refined engines, the essence of the original remained present. Each generation retained an emphasis on agility and feedback that traced directly back to the 1992 model. Modern sport motorcycles often integrate complex technologies such as traction control, ride-by-wire, and advanced aerodynamics, yet the underlying pursuit remains the same. Give the rider a sense of unity with the machine. The Fireblade's rise also changed how motorcycle media evaluated performance machines. Before its arrival, reviews often emphasized peak horsepower and acceleration numbers. After 1992, handling, chassis balance, weight distribution, and responsiveness gained equal importance. Testers began spending more time discussing real-world performance, not just controlled demonstrations. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 encouraged journalists to adopt a more holistic assessment of motorcycles, acknowledging that objective numbers did not fully capture the riding experience. This shift in media perspective helped shape public expectations and reinforce the importance of engineering balance. The community surrounding the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 grew significantly over time. Enthusiasts admired its purity of purpose and the feeling that it distilled performance into its most essential elements. Clubs, forums, and gatherings formed around preserving the legacy of early Fireblades. Many owners viewed their machines as milestones representing a shift in motorcycle design philosophy. The Fireblade was not merely a product. It became a symbol of innovation achieved through thoughtful engineering rather than brute force. Even today, riders who experience the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 for the first time often report that it feels surprisingly modern. Its light steering, intuitive chassis, and rewarding feedback continue to impress despite the rapid evolution of motorcycle technology. This speaks to the enduring quality of its core design. While modern sport motorcycles offer more power and advanced electronics, the foundational joy of a responsive chassis and balanced performance remains consistent with what the Fireblade offered decades ago. The motorcycle's relevance across generations underscores the depth of its engineering achievements. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 also influenced motorcycle design outside the sport category. Engineers in other segments took note of the benefits of weight reduction, compact packaging, and rider-centered ergonomics. These principles began appearing in naked bikes, sport touring models, and even adventure motorcycles. The recognition that weight influences everything from comfort to agility encouraged broader adoption of Fireblade-inspired design strategies. This allowed the Fireblade's impact to extend far beyond the category in which it was born. Honda's internal design culture was strengthened by the success of the Fireblade. The company gained confidence in prioritizing rider feel and purposeful engineering over marketing-driven specifications. This mindset influenced future projects, encouraging teams to pursue designs that emphasized balance and usability. The Fireblade's triumph validated a philosophy that remains present in Honda's contemporary performance products. The original 1992 model is therefore a cornerstone of Honda's identity in the superbike world. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 shaped an entire generation of sport motorcycle design. Within the first 30 words, the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 remains the focus because its long-term impact offers a clear lens through which to understand how performance philosophy evolved. This machine proved that weight reduction, balanced geometry, and rider engagement could outperform displacement in many real-world scenarios. That lesson continues to influence how riders evaluate modern superbikes. The story of the Fireblade is ultimately a story about rethinking priorities. Instead of relying on larger engines, Honda embraced harmony between chassis and powertrain. This shift helped redefine how the riding community viewed performance. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 also demonstrated that a motorcycle could be fast and manageable without sacrificing comfort or dependability. This combination earned lasting trust from enthusiasts. Riders appreciated how the machine encouraged skill development and rewarded smooth technique. It helped create a culture that valued precision over brute force. The Fireblade delivered a riding experience that felt natural, giving riders a sense of connection that remained compelling even as newer models enter the market. This legacy reflects how thoughtfully engineered machines can stay relevant long after their debut year. Another element of the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 story is its influence on subsequent generations within the same lineage. Later Fireblade models incorporated advanced materials, electronics, and aerodynamic features, yet they retained an emphasis on agility and balance. This continuity shows how one machine can define a company's performance identity. Even as technology advanced, the original ideas behind the 1992 model remained visible in the evolution of the series. Riders and collectors alike saw the original as a benchmark that future motorcycles needed to respect. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 also played a role in reshaping how the media evaluated performance machines. Reviewers began placing greater importance on handling, stability, and rider feedback. This more comprehensive approach aligned with the Fireblade's strengths. Publications that once focused on peak numbers adopted testing methods that included agility, responsiveness, and real-world rideability. This change influenced public perception and helped reinforce the idea that performance is multidimensional. As the Fireblade's reputation grew, so did its status as a reference point for critical analysis. Collectors continue to seek well-preserved examples of the Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 because it represents a pivotal moment in motorcycle history. The model stands as a physical reminder of when the industry shifted toward lighter, more responsive designs. Its rising value reflects both its historical significance and the lasting appreciation riders have for its balanced performance. The Fireblade is often featured at enthusiast events, highlighting its continued relevance and celebrating the engineering insight that defined it. The Honda CBR900RR Fireblade 1992 remains one of the most influential superbikes ever created. Its blend of agility, clarity, and user-friendly performance continues to resonate with riders across generations. The story of this motorcycle underscores the importance of innovation grounded in purpose rather than trends. Its impact can be seen not only in sport motorcycles but throughout multiple segments that adopted similar design philosophies. The Fireblade proved that performance can be achieved through refinement and balance, creating a blueprint that endures in modern engineering. END